Hi, my name is Gayle. I'm a corporate communications specialist for North America for Kaspersky. A key aspect of my job is to manage and run the corporate social responsibility program for the region.
Hi everyone, my name is Anastasiya Marentsova and I work for Kaspersky as a corporate social responsibility manager, which actually means that I am responsible for all the good deals we do as a company, taking care of people, environment, culture and everything that needs care. Corporate social responsibility is a number of principles and social contributions of business. CSR includes corporate charity, volunteer movement, eco-initiatives, educational projects, and many other things. Businesses need to get involved into CSR because of many purposes such as ethical, strategic, HR, and others.
Corporate social responsibility to me is our ability to give back to the community that we serve. So at Kaspersky we do several different types of activities, whether it's fundraising for organizations, sponsoring different events, physically volunteering, or having community drives for people in need, just really being able to have that personal touch to the environment around you. It's important for an organization to have a specific CSR strategy for more reasons than just giving back to the community. While that is the main intention of these programs, there's a lot also organizations can gain from increasing teamwork, from interdepartment mingling, to have people better understand what other people in the organization do, to even just feeling passionate about the workplace that people go into every day. If you give back, you feel good about yourself, you feel good about the company, and it really overall does a lot of positive for the environment that you're trying to build.
When we are talking about CSR from the HR perspective, we are talking first of all about volunteer movement. When you are making some volunteer projects, you are putting together people from different departments and they are involved into some good deals and they are inspired by it and they make some things together. They're making friends, they laugh together, they work together, and it helps them to communicate during the work processes in the future. In Moscow office, for example, we have a charity dancing marathon, Best Buddies, where we have a corporate dancing team. And before the event, we have a month of rehearsals when people are coming to the office every morning and they're dancing together, they're talking, they're preparing some dance, and during this process, they are really making friends. And this is how it works for the HR perspective.
The problems that we solve with our CSR program has a pretty wide variety. I think that an important part of a CSR program is to make sure that you are getting a diversity in what you're being able to give back to while remaining within your strategy. So your strategy is so important because it should align with your business goals, and in doing so, you'll be able to create a program that you're really be able to make a big impact. Any volunteering is good volunteering, but if it's something that you have hands-on and personal experience with, you're going to be able to make a large impact through that.
Kaspersky is a global company committed to building a safer as well as better world. In Kaspersky, we think that our main mission is to protect people not only in cyberspace but also in the everyday life, enabling them with an access to the future and to safer technologies. And we think that together with the impact of technologies, we can make a world more sustainable and a better place to live in. So we named our main CSR approach Cybersecurity for the Greater Good. Within this approach, we defined 4 main pillars. It's community, impact, education, and key people.
And the goal of all of these things are to be able to help out the community. For us, it's through education, impact, key people, and community. And we're able to touch a lot of different people's lives to really enhance the way that they're able to live. So we do different things like food drives, volunteering at different organizations that help give back to lower income people. We have a lot of tech-related programs that help give back and help people who might not have had access to either that education or that practical experience. And we're able to really push through our goals and help and make a really big impact because of it.
I'm mostly responsible for CSR project at the Moscow office at our headquarters, and here we have a number of partners we are working with for many years already. One of them is named Syndrome of Love Foundation, and this is the oldest and the largest foundation in Russia taking care of people with Down syndrome. One of the projects is named Sport for a Good Cause. It's a number of charity sport projects when people can donate for charity and take part in charity run or cycling or skiing or football, etc. When you're working at IT company, most of your employees are young men, and sport is a very good chance to involve them into CSR. That's why we are always taking part in these events, and we are always sponsoring them, and we always give our employees an opportunity to take part in these events. Another project I want to tell you about is also a project we made with the Syndrome of Love Foundation, and it was a charity expedition to Kilimanjaro mountain. It was the inclusive expedition when 4 of our participants were people with disabilities. So we had 2 guys with Down syndrome, we had 1 guy with paralysis, and we had 1 more guy from the orphanage we are taking care of. And all of them climbed the Kilimanjaro mountain, and one of the guys with Down syndrome, he set the world record within people with Down syndrome to climb Kilimanjaro. So he was like the highest one. And also during this expedition we were volunteer fundraisers, and we raised money to help people with Down syndrome. And we realized that this inspiring project was made not only for these 4 participants, but it was made for all the parents of people with disabilities, parents who now are raising small kids. We wanted to share them that their kids have an access to a better future, and they will have things to do there. So there is some future for them.
So last year in the United States, we did over 35 different CSR programs. Every month we try to do at least 3, 1 in office, 1 out of office, and 1 drive. This really creates diversity in the program, so people who may be a little busier at work still have the opportunity to give back. One of my favorite months of the year is November in the US. That's Thanksgiving, and it's our month of giving. So we had several different opportunities to give back, everything from a clothing drive to an exec Thanksgiving meal, where our executives actually brought in food and catered a meal, home-cooked food. And we raised a lot of money for Alzheimer's organization, but it also just created a really great family atmosphere. The execs were giving back, we were all able to kind of hang out together as one big group, and that was a really amazing program for me. Also, in December, we do an Adopt a Family program. That is where we take on 2 families from lower income households who can't give their children the holiday season that they would wish for. So we take on those children, and we adopted several kids. We gave them everything from their wish list, and we were really able to make a very happy holiday season for a lot of different children in the area. Another thing we do is we volunteer with Cradles to Crayons. This is an organization that reaches out to lower income families as well, making sure that they have the books, the diapers, the clothing, the food, all of the things that they need. And we all go in as a group of 20 or so, and we actually sort all of these baskets, all of these bags that are then distributed amongst our community. And it makes a really big difference to have a kid be able to go into school with the confidence of knowing that they have they have clean clothes, they have clothes that fit them, they have the school supplies that they need, and it makes a huge impact. So the way that we at Kaspersky North America choose our organizations is 1, through a lot of research, making sure that these are companies that are making a big impact. 2, we have had a CSR program for many years now, so making sure that the programs and the activities that we're doing are resonating with our employees. And most importantly, we ask our employees, we see what's interesting to them, we help out organizations that they're very passionate about, because not only does it provide a better outcome, more people attend these events because they're a little more passionate and they have a personal touch, but it also makes the employees feel like, we care about them, which at the end of the day we really do. Happy employees create better work, create better environment, and it's just better for both us internally and, the world in general.
There is a short answer to this question, like use Google. But if we're talking more serious, On the one hand, you should have quite strong criteria. For example, the organization should operate at the market for a number of years already. They should be ready to provide all the financial reports, and you should clearly understand their programs, you should clearly understand their audience. But on the other hand, in charity and in CSR, there is always a moment of trust. Personally, I always try to meet this organization in person and to have a look into their eyes and to meet their audience. For example, when we are working with foundation that helps people with Down syndrome, you have to go to this foundation, to their office, and meet these people and talk to them.
So there are several different, very difficult parts about working in the CSR program and being able to do the things that we do. One of the most important and most moving, difficult things that we have to work through is being able to deal with some of the effects and some of the emotions that we have to see. We work with women's shelters where these women have been battered and mistreated. Some of them have ended up homeless, and being able to give yourself to them and open up and let them open up to you and tell their stories, that's extremely difficult. But on the other side of things, other challenges internally, especially when you're starting out a new CSR program, is really just making sure that it's embedded into your culture so that people want to go to these things. They're so important to the community and to the organization, but you can't do it without the help of your employees and without the help of your executives. Making sure to be able to weave into your corporate culture that this is something that we should be doing, that's a big challenge, and one of the best ways I've found to kind of tackle that is making sure that your execs and your leaders and your managers are really getting involved to show that, one, this is something that we all have time to do. So the COVID pandemic has changed our world, but also a lot of what my job entails, which is running that CSR program. Many of our programs before this pandemic, before March, before we started working from home, were in person and very personal. And the challenging thing about the pandemic and COVID being as dangerous and horrifying as it is that there's even more need out there. However, a lot of the things that we were able to do, we aren't able to do right now. So really this provided us an opportunity and a challenge to kind of be creative and think outside of the box. One of the organizations that we have volunteered with for several years now is the Boston Children's Hospital. They have an annual Corporate Cup Challenge, which is this amazing field day activity where there's everything from tug of war to different relay races, and it's a very physical activity. Obviously we couldn't do that this year, but us along with them were able to get creative and create online challenges that we could do from this comfort and safety of our home. And I think that the pandemic has really just pushed kind of the way that we think about what we're doing and how we're able to give back, which fortunately for us, we're going to be able to take some of those things and implement into our planning for the future to make sure that we're actually able to offer remote employees many more activities and different things to be able to give back no matter what the circumstance. Different things from providing our employees with information to how to safely donate blood, which is super important right now. Making sure that we are, actually yesterday we had a virtual activity where we worked with Building Impact, an organization that does tremendous work with several nonprofit organizations. And we were able to put together virtual duffel bags for dads who have been really impacted by the COVID-19 pandemic that we're kind of going through, and making sure that these underprivileged dads are able to connect with their children and have the resources and the essentials that they need to stay healthy, happy, and ultimately a good father and role model for their children.
Talking about my work during the pandemic, there were two main changes. On the one hand, most of the offline events were cancelled and it has become more difficult to develop volunteer movement. But on the other hand, the pandemic has affected people a lot, and many of them wanted to get involved into this fight. And many of our employees have come to us and asked us, how can we help? What can we do? And it was very inspiring to see how this pandemic has put people together. In May, we arranged a global fundraising campaign and we raised funds for 38 organizations that are helping to fight coronavirus around the globe. It was very important for our employees to know that the company doesn't stay aside the problem. During the last 4.5 months, I was volunteering at the COVID hospital in Moscow, facing this pandemic side by side with doctors practically every day. This was one of the most inspiring as well as one of the most difficult experiences in my life. And the only thing I wanted to tell everyone who doesn't think that the pandemic exists, I'm sorry guys, but it does. So please take care and stay safe.